Giving no praise unto Abashim Shabashim Kohakodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and I honor you brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. The brother everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kohakodash, giving no praise unto Abashim Shai, Bashim Kohakodash. Okay, so this is going to be a relatively quick video, and Lord's will I could do a half decent job, Lord's will, of the topics that I wanted to get into today, which is to have rule over your spirit. And this is a testimonial based on my own experience of watching how particular managers and particular people in leadership within the Esau's infrastructure maneuver within their endeavors. And over time, I've seen what those actions have led to, and how, us as we come into this truth, we got personality, okay? We're Israelites at the end of the day. We got personalities, right? And we got a diversity of different personalities. Some brothers are real cool, real laid back, slow to anger. Some brothers are more forward, okay? Some brothers are more, right, leaning towards, behaviors that somebody might consider as being, distasteful, which ultimately that's not what this truth is about, okay? This truth, what you learn from this truth is some of these traits that this world be demonizing, like, for example, controlling behavior, right? But to what end? If somebody's trying to control me from not stepping into a fire, then, bless that brother, because that's a person that's got my best interests at heart, okay? And, other descriptors, narcissism and all of this, that, and the third. And, the world deems some of these terms as negative. And it took me a while to really realize what Apostle Tahar was saying when he says, look, some of these terms that this world be using and they be demonizing, really, these are the characteristics that's necessary in order to build. And ultimately, what is a husband outside of a building? And we understand, there's going to be a lot of implications for that particular statement when we get into the kingdom, when we really get to build, okay? Build a whole rebuild the whole world, man. Starting first and foremost with Yahweh Shai. Okay? So this is like a cautionary tale, right? You got to understand your spirit. You got to understand your spirit. You got to understand who you are and the implications of what your spirit brings to the table on a good day and what your spirit brings to the table on a bad day. And again, like I said, this is a testimonial. So, we're in this truth where we observe particular things, and I've observed somebody that's able to build a reputation, right? Build a career, so to speak, right? Which really the only real career out here is this truth, right? The only real profession is to push this word. But again, like I said, I'm just observing, watching, and collecting data, and trying to use the data to make edifying videos through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai Shai. So I've seen this particular person, heard his reputation, heard what he's been able to build, and the thing is magnificent, okay, when you look at it. But that particular trait, that drive, okay, that willingness to build, it comes with a cost. And this is why I said you got to understand your personality. And you could flip it around to the other side and say, oh, the guy that's light, nice, chilled out, laid back, well, we all know that's the person that's more prone to being offended. Okay, that's another way you could look at this particular video. So I'll try to approach both perspectives, and I'll try to touch both types of spirits, of which the Most High, he's a power of variety. Okay, there's all kind of different spirits out there. The purpose of this video is to encourage you to understand your spirit and know the limitations of your spirit. And ultimately, what you understand is that we're a body. So within a body, there's going to be a diversity of different characters and personalities. And what you find, especially when we're out there teaching, you see each brother is going to teach. And they're going to teach the same thing, but they're going to teach in all their own different ways. You got 3-4 brothers out there touching on a topic, touching on precepts. What you find is one brother might come up with the history, another brother might come up with the implication of the history, another brother might go precept. Okay? It's a body. And this is what you learn within this truth. And this is what you learn to observe when you're watching these people. You see, okay, that guy, right, he's got them so-called narcissistic tendencies. Okay, this guy, yeah, he can build. Because when you look at that particular personality type, right, the builder, the guy that's out there just on a grind all the time, right? That's a very useful spirit. when you're trying to get things done. However, if you don't know how to manage that particular spirit, you could be out here just offending people and you don't even realize it. You could just be out here just causing a mess and you're not even realizing it. Okay? The flip side of that is what? Is the super duper nice guy. The guy wants to be just chill, just wants to lay back. He'll do his work, he'll do his bit. But at the end of the day, man just wants to chill, man just wants to be around the family and all of that. Well, what's going to happen to you? You're going to be the person that's going to get offended. Okay, now the scriptures gives us tools as how to deal with both particular scenarios. If a brother offends you, yeah, bro, you offended me, man. You know, chill out a little bit, man. We're all good, no problem. Hey, so like I gotta even realize it, and that's really the vast majority of the situation is that's what happens. The vast majority of the situation is right that you see is when a brother gets offended. Most of the time, it's like, bro, I didn't even realize I offended you. My bad. I didn't even realize that, man. Brother, I don't want to do that. One, I might not do it again with you. Right? I might not do that around you anymore because I know it's a pet peeve of yours. Okay? Or I might just, if it's a situation where I could just get rid of it, but I'm going to get rid of it. But this is where communication comes into it. And this is where you're going to be able to talk. And this is where you're going to be able to say, yo, bro, you know, don't take this the bad way. Whoop-de-whoop. But what you see within this world, and this comes off of the back of the Edomite rulership, you see this overemphasis on wealth, resources, and acquisition of wealth and resources as opposed to wisdom, right? Where we're acquiring wisdom, and therefore in the acquisition of wisdom, you can never stop, and nobody can take your wisdom and make it their wisdom. You begin to see the world in a totally different light, and that's why the Most High blessed King Solomon, man. That's why the Most High blessed King Solomon, because here it is, you got wisdom. Wisdom is the most paramount thing. Okay, you could deal with situations, you could deal with people, okay? You could deal with your household, you could deal with your family, you could deal with all of that. But when you got all of the resources because you was able to obtain it by way of your spirit, and this goes back to the lesson, here it is, you got that spirit of drive, that so-called narcissism, which there's nothing wrong with that particular spirit, right? Some people are born with that genetically, right? I think it's 1 in 4 people have got the narcissistic trait. Beautiful spirit when you want to build something. Beautiful spirit when you want to drive. But it's not going to be the first person in the morning that's necessarily going to say, hello, how are you doing? Unless you're high in the food chain and the narcissist is below somewhere in the food chain. That's just how that particular spirit works. But this is why the scripture says, or rather more, this is why the saying goes, it takes a community to raise a child. And that's when you see particular spirits, you say, okay, I remember that particular spirit. Uncle X, Y, and Z, he was like that. Let me just make him aware of the pitfalls of his particular spirit, right? Hey, the Joker, right? Some brothers are jokers, but you gotta know you gotta know when it's time not to joke. You gotta know, all right, this brother, he ain't on laughing all that much. Let me chill out around him, but around this brother, I could let loose. I could let my spirit flow. You gotta learn how to rule your spirit. You gotta learn to know. You gotta learn and know the pitfalls of your spirit. Right, we're dynamic within this truth, man. Okay, although we got our own baseline spirits, or although we got our own baseline way of beings. Okay, although you can watch a brother and be offended all the day long. When it comes down to it, when we're a body, we get together. You're gonna be able to be dynamic, man. Okay, that's what this truth teaches you to be. So let's read this precept here, and then we'll call it quits after reading this precept. And again, like I said, I've seen a geezer. I've seen what he's built, but I can see the pitfalls of his spirit. And he's so blinded by the acquisition of power and acquisition of resources, he can't see that he's a couple of steps away from being made a fool. Because obviously, as you're building, especially within this kingdom, you're just burning through people. Okay? You're just burning through people. You're bullying people. Which really, like I said, it's good to have that drive. It's good to build. It's beautiful to build. It's beautiful to have all of that resources. But this truth teaches you when to be a hunter and when to chill. Okay, this truth teaches you when to be on drive mode, but you're around somebody that might get offended. You're gonna chill. You're gonna use another communication tool. It might not be the most natural tool to you, but this is what you gotta do, man. You gotta learn to rule over your spirit. The same thing. I'm gonna flip it to the nice guy. The same thing with a nice guy. You see a brother, you see how he talks, and he's a bit more forward, brother. Chill out, man. Don't be so offended, man. That's just how the brother is. That's just how the brother is, man. Chill out, man. Don't be so offended every single time you're getting offended. Walking in the corner with an attitude. It's like, brother, chill out, man. Okay? And the brother, that's a joker. I mean, I like to crack a joke every now and then, but I try to do my best to notice the moments when to crack a joke. See, really, that's the difference between, when we talk about comedy, that's the difference between a comedian and a real comedian. A real comedian knows how to take the story to a, that's why Dave Chappelle's so famous. He knows how to tell you a story and really make the joke crack, but it's not joke. There's some comedians that are like that, and it's like, all right, you know what, I'm done with that, right? And when you get around these particular people, they ain't cracking jokes all the time, right? You gotta learn how to be dynamic. You gotta learn how to rule your spirit. And that's a prayer, really. I want to be praying every day to where it's like, okay, you know, when I'm around this particular brother, I have to be this certain type of a way to make sure the brother's cool, right? Because more times brothers be trying to make situations work for you, and you're getting offended by the brother's baseline spirit. It's like, yo, man, chill out, man. Chill out, man. So that's a prayer I like to pray, you know, frequently, right? Most High teaches me how to be dynamic, to know when to be strong, to know when to be soft, okay? To know when to be a leader, but to know when to chill. And that's what happens when you're in this truth. A couple brothers might be together in a camp. You're the camp leader. Now you might meet up with a regional head. Now you're not the camp leader anymore. You ain't the camp leader anymore. The regional head's around. All right, I'm gonna chill right now, you know? I'm a whole post for that. This is what this truth teaches you, but these people in this world, they don't know how to be dynamic. They just know one little aspect, right? That gives them a little, sometimes really it's an ego thing. The ego thing gives them a little boost, right? You know, when you're able to control people, it gives you a little boost in all of that. But at the end of the day, to control them to what end? Right? This is what it comes down to. When you're in this truth, what are you trying to control a brother for? You're trying to control a brother so you mix it on a chariot. Brother, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's going to get you destroyed. Brother, hey, yo, chill out with that, man. You know, yeah, you're doing too much. That's what you do. But when it comes down to these people, it's all about control. For what purpose? For the purposes of their ego. And that's why ultimately, right? Ultimately, we need to get out of here, because you be interacting with these people and they be trying to do the most around you, right? Because they got demons on it. They got these worldly demons on it. Right? I feel like I rambled enough. Let me read this precept. Hopefully it's been of edification so far. Proverbs 25 and 28. He that hath rule over his own spirit is like a city. He that hath no rule over his spirit. Right? And notice the scripture says your spirit. It didn't say this particular type of spirit. Okay? It didn't say this particular type of spirit. Just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean, right, that you're just exempt. Oh, brother, I looked after you, man. Yeah, but you're not ruling over your spirit. If you know you're a nice guy, then you know there's particular situations that are more likely to offend you, right? So you just gotta go in there, deal with the situation, and move out. You gotta learn how to be a tough guy. I remember when I first came into this truth a long time ago, right? I remember when I first came into this truth a long time ago. I believe it was Elder Manasseh's, like, or Elder. The name slips me now. Right, but I remember it was, and I got kind of hurt, right? And he said, "Look, bro, if you're a so-called nice guy, man, you got to put off that nice guy spirit, because guess what? Life's tough. Okay, toughen up, and that's the reality of the situation. If you're a so-called nice guy, you ain't exempt from this particular precept. Learn to rule over your spirit. Learn when your spirit is needed. Brother's down, okay, he ain't feeling all that way. That's when you can go be the Mr. Nice Guy and all of that, man. But a situation is popping off that you could be likely offended. Toughen up, man. You getting cursed out? Toughen up, man. Hey, Salakia, bro, I went off, you know, hey, I'll get it right next time, Lord's will. Toughen up, man. Okay? You're around a brother that's a bit more, you know, quote unquote, rough around the edges, of which sometimes, like, just because you're a nice guy, it doesn't mean you ain't gonna go off. That means you're gonna get rebuked. Okay? That means you're gonna get rebuked. Right? Jake don't want to understand that. He just thinks because you're nice, you're just exempt from being exhorted, being rebuked. Same thing with a joker. You know, you got the joker spirit around you. Hey, that's great, bro. We got the drink, we got the chicken, crack the jokes, bro. Bring the music out. But we're at the Passover, chill out, bro. Okay? We're a situation where it requires a more solemn spirit. Learn to be dynamic, man. Okay? He that have no rule over his spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. And that's it. And again, like I said, I'm seeing it firsthand right now, where it's like, okay, yeah, I can see what your spirit's been able to build. And I'm not saying in the truth. I'm talking about when I'm at the plantation. I'm seeing it. I'm just watching this guy. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see what your spirit's brought to you, and that's beautiful. Okay, but I can see you haven't got no rule over this particular spirit, so you're able to build here, but really you're not understanding that you're breaking down over here. So what you're just doing is you're burning and you're building, you're burning and you're building. Yeah, you're going all right, but at some point, this shit's gonna catch up with you. And the same thing with all the the few examples that I've mentioned, obviously there's other examples of that, but the few examples that I've mentioned, it's all the same, man. It's all the same, right? You're a nice guy, you're nice, everybody likes you because you're nice, but every time somebody says something offensive, you get offended and you go into quiet mode, or you act out for a little while. You're breaking down, right? You're breaking down the bridges that you've built. You know what I mean? And you're rough around the edges, and you see a guy that's a bit more meek and all of that, and you're coming down with the bricks, right? Coming down with the bricks over the brother's head. You could break that down, and you gotta have rule over your spirit. But well, nobody's exempt from this precept. So with that, I'm gonna say all praise unto Yabashi Mashai Bashi Mukwako. Hopefully it's been of edification. It's lucky I'm rambling. Right, hopefully it's of edification. With that, I'm gonna say all praise unto Yabashi Mashai Bashi Mukwako. The bonus to the apostles, a great millstone, and I honor you brothers that be pushing these truth in sincerity. Shalom.